I like that. Good
You
evening,
intro music.
everyone.
Yeah.
How you doing tonight? I am
All
your
right.
host, Boricua
Hey.
Angie, and you are listening to Thoughts of a Light-Skinned Woman. So tonight, I have my guests here. We have Reggie and Cleve. So tonight's topic is, well, there's gonna be a few episodes, so it's about the dating stories, and I have
Uh,
plenty. I
uh-oh.
have plenty. So, I guess before we get into like other conversations, because I was talking earlier about that, like the do's and the don'ts, but I definitely want to get into the stories. So, the thing that I've noticed with like then and now, and I was talking about it, like before the show Catfish came out, people were already
Mhm.
doing that way before.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's not like, it's not like it's anything new or, they're out there. So I'm trying to think. This could have been like the early 2000s. I probably could have been on Black Planet. I'm not sure what site it
Oh,
was. It
that's
could
a
have been
classic. I
that,
remember
yeah.
Black Planet.
Could have been, it could have been Black Planet. There was so many sites. There were like the BBW. I tried Match. I tried eHarmony back then. Uh, was OK Cupid around? No, OK.
No,
No, not yet.
no, not yet. No, no.
Wasn't.
It was
Trying to
Black
think.
Planet, and there was another one that was like Black Planet that was out there.
Right. And I can't remember. But I just
Yeah.
know that I was on some of them. And the funniest thing is like what I've been noticing like now is the same thing. Like any site that I would go on, certain people were on there too. And in my head it's like, do you sure you like big women? Or you just here just to be an asshole because you feel, you know what I mean? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
just going around making profiles. It's like, do you even like any of whatever you're signing up for? But I remember meeting one guy, and we're gonna call him Popeye because I don't remember his name anymore. But that's who he reminded me of. He reminded me of Popeye, Popeye the Sailor Man. If people don't know, um, so with the whole catfishing thing, I saw the pictures, and I was like, oh, this guy's good looking. When I see him in person, I was so pissed because
Damn.
I'm like, those pictures must have been like 20, 30 years ago because they look
Mm-hmm.
nothing like him in person. He, you could see he was older. Then I muscular guy, but then you can tell he had like this old man walk. I don't know how to
Mm.
explain it, but if you know what I'm talking about, he had the
Probably
old
me
man
now.
walk. He had some fat, huge fingers. I don't know what that was about. Does that have anything to do with working out? Because I don't know what was going on with his fingers. They
How
were
did
just
it look?
like fat fingers, fat fingers.
Oh, he could have been diabetic. He could have had some sort of condition where his extremities are swollen. I don't know.
Right.
Could be anything. Yeah.
I thought about that too. And I was just like, so we hung out, which of course this is the whole conversation of what it's gonna be about too. It's like I did one of the main things of like if I knew I wasn't interested, there was like either I could have found a way to leave or whatever, but I stayed and I had a drink. Then
Okay.
when it came time, if I'm correct, I think he got me a cab or something like that. Uh when I think either the next day or the same day when I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know if I told him maybe that I wasn't interested. I don't know what I must have said. Then he was basically calling me out of my name.
Oh
He was like,
wow.
"Oh, I should have never got you the cab. I should have just let your ass take the bus or the train." And I'm over here in my head like, whatever. That
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have been an issue because I know how to travel. I know how to get around. So nobody was lost because it was still in Brooklyn. So
Cool.
it would have been fine. But it's just always that type of stuff of like, it was kind of on me. But then the fact to be so disrespectful is kind of like I hear you, but I ain't never gonna see you again, so it's okay.
Mm-mm. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Then I, I'm, I still got more. Just hold on a second. Just hold on.
Uh-oh.
There
But
was
wait, this
another guy. I don't know his name, and I'm gonna be nice. I'm not giving him no nicknames, but he also did the whole catfishing thing because the pictures, you can tell that he looked fine. I think I remember back then when you can do like the whole video thing, like kind of like chatting, doing the whole video thing. I don't know what, again, it's been years. When I saw him, he had he looked like he must have had a stroke or something.
Oh wow.
So again, if that's what it was, I get it. But the fact of that he was putting pictures, again, don't know from when it was or whatever. So maybe he just didn't want to put anything, you know what I mean? Like anything current. But again, I wasn't expecting that. So I don't even know how any of that turned out either, because it's bad. I just know that I was just living through it in the moment. I was dating left and right. And all I was just telling one of my friends is like, whatever this dating site was, because I can't remember if it was Black Planet, whichever one it was was horrible, because all the men that I kept meeting, it was just like, no, this is like, I must be in the Twilight Zone, because this has to be, I'm in a nightmare, I must be in the Matrix, and I need to wake up. Because one guy, I could see why he didn't smile in the pictures, because when I met him in person, he had teeth on top of teeth, and all his teeth were messed up. And when I finally got to meet him and he spoke, and I'm standing there like so bad, like I was having one of those moments, like, you know, what do you call that? Like the movie Shallow Hal. Like I was having one of those moments. It's like, I don't really think I want to really date or talk to this dude only just because of his teeth. You know, so I was having one of those moments where I was just like, no, I couldn't do it. And then, like, if you was to see my track record with either dating or whatever it was, some of the men were okay. So it's kind of like, I guess I could say I wasn't so shallow all the time, because again, some of them were all right. Sometimes my friends say they were ugly or whatever, but I'm just like, again, I've learned when you get to know someone, personality, I feel like that trumps everything else. Looks and everything goes out the window. Whether he ugly, not, I don't know, but I just like who he is, personality, you know what I mean? Like all of that. So other than that, the looks don't count, you know? So let's talk about the recent one. So let's move into 2023, where people are still catfishing.
Of course.
And still putting pictures that they know that's not them. Well, it is them. It's just the whole thing about, you know how when people put pictures of how they look, maybe they used to be skinnier, maybe they weren't, but those type of pictures. And I just know one guy, he posted many different pictures, but it wasn't like one of the main ones where he seemed kind of, you know, he was slimmer. You could tell, you know, worked out or whatever, fine. When I got to meet him in person, I didn't have an issue. Again, I thought he was a good-looking guy. So however he changed, whether if it was a year, over the years, I didn't have an issue, because again, however he looked fine. The weight, you know what I mean? That extra weight he had looked fine. It wasn't an issue. So I don't know how to explain it, but I feel and I was trying to find a nickname for him. At first, I was going to call him, I'll say it anyway. Screw it. We're on live. I was going to call him Donkey Kong, because I took his name, and that's what I didn't know what else to call him. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want to give it away. But if he ever watches this, he'll know it's him. So whatever. Because he talked about being roasted. You're going to get roasted today. You will be roasted today. He wanted to know how savage I was when it, like, you know, like when you're with your partner and you got like little jokes on each other. He literally asked me what I would say about him. So I was like, today will be the day that I will say it. because I didn't want to say it
jeez.
before because I was trying to be nice and I didn't have nothing to say because there was no reason to be mean. Like, why would you want me to be mean to you unless you're into that? I'm not going to be mean.
Right.
So he started off cool where, you know, being very affectionate. And I guess like what my friends call it, like love bombing, you know, just certain things. And I noticed that things changed after we hung out. I actually treated him for his birthday. And I noticed that once that happened, it was like it was a complete change. It was like a 360. All of a sudden it turned into, if I left anything at his place, just for me to know that it was going to be somewhere, not in his place anymore. So I'm kind of like in the garbage. Like I'm listening to him like, what are you saying? Like, what does that mean? You know? So all I'm thinking, he must mean in the garbage, because I'm not getting it. And it's kind of like, what's all that about? You know, like it was just a big, complete change of attitude. So everything seemed cool until that happened. And then that's when, like I said, everything started changing. I don't know. I feel like when I think about it, I just know that he's like an opportunist because of the type of person I've seen who he is. Can I call him a user? Maybe, because like I said, once we went out, it was just like all of a sudden things changed. I just know that he was asking a lot of questions, and I'm not saying that when you're trying to, you know, date someone or you're talking to someone, I don't have an issue with the questions. I just feel like some of the questions for me, because you know I'm still kind of learning how to be more open about it. It's like some of the questions to me were still kind of like triggering. So when he asked, it was kind of like, I think he was seeing me as being quiet and like oh my gosh, I can't even think right now. I guess he felt like either I was being secretive or like keeping to myself, of like not wanting to share stuff. But again, it's hard to want to tell someone, like, it's not that I don't want to share. It's just that I'm still going through, you know, through the process, you know? Right. So it came off as, you know, I guess I'm being secretive or just, you know, hiding stuff. And I was like, whatever. I'm like, I'm in therapy. I don't got time for this. I'm in a place in my life. They got to stop messing with me. So here goes the roasting part. We went to the museum, and I was telling my friends, because it's a smell that I cannot describe. I actually basically told them that it was a smell like a fish and vagina, maybe mixed together. I don't know what kind of food, what kind of thing that could have been, but he was having that was an odor that when I would get close, I'm like, oh my God, what is this smell? Because it's reminding me of something, but it's like, did something?
Oh my God.
Did he do something before he came to see me? I don't know. But in my head, it's like, didn't you smell yourself? Because I could smell it when I got close to you. I can't imagine anybody else that was coming near him and wondering, damn, this guy smells like vagina fish. I don't know what else to call it. I went to my Caribbeans out there. I know somebody can answer. It had to be some type of food. I don't know what it was that smells like that, but somebody has to let me know what would smell like that. Because like I said, fish vagina, it was a combination smell that I'm never going to forget. But my friends were like, you're being too nice. Like, they were like that you were willing to overlook that. Like, they were like, that was probably like one problem they were like, you could fix. But they were like, damn, like, really? Like, really? You would just keep, you know, after him smelling like that? And I was just like, look, I was just, you know, I was interested in him. I mean, hello. I mean, what else can I say? Again, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. It kind of bit me in my ass. And then after that, he basically he ghosted me. Because when I went to text him to see what was going on, if he was doing anything for the week, no response. Nothing after that day. So you know me. And again, my friends were like, all the fucking red flags were there. They said all the signs were there, because one thing I remember him saying was, and it wasn't just one female, I think he probably could have mentioned one or two, where he was like, that they would call him a lot and he wouldn't answer. And so I'm just like, well, honey, I'm not going to be the one to chase you. I ain't going to be none of these other females you're talking about. Because I'm like, I get the hint real quick. The message was, you know what I mean? The silence was loud and clear to me. I'm not chasing you. Whatever they did, I don't care. Whatever I did, I'm cool. But I'm not chasing you. Just like he said he don't chase, I ain't chasing you either. You must be crazy. You ghosted me, I'm good. We could keep it going like that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no issue. So yeah. I'm ready for all of them.
Oh boy.
2023. I've been very open about that too. When I've been talking to guys, letting them know, like, I take therapy. I'm not gonna be ashamed to say it. I'm trying to find a way, I guess, to like, it's not gonna be 100% perfect, but at least to kind of like work through it, kind of heal. You know what I mean? So now that I'm going through that process, I look at everybody now, especially as I'm doing that whole little dating thing. I started looking at people like, you're unhealed and you're emotionally unavailable. I don't got time for this, not in 2023. Like, people want to sit there and talk about what they're looking for, qualities, all this and that. And I'm hearing you talk to me and it's like, you sound like you have problems. I'm trying to take care of myself and do the right thing. And I'm hearing you. So it was like, if you think something's wrong with me, no, something's wrong with you. Because I know I'm doing the work. I'm trying to be better, a better version of myself. I don't want to be that toxic person. You know what I mean? Like, especially with these dating and all that stuff. I don't want to be a toxic person. I don't want to play those games. I'm good. I'm trying to learn and steer away from all of that stuff that I was doing before. Like, if I want to find someone, I want to do things the right way. And if I feel it's not working and I'm not interested, then I'm just going to let it be. I'm not trying to give nobody no more the benefit of the doubt. None of that stuff. I'm good. We're moving forward because, I'm about to be 43 this year. What do I look like? TikTok. Time's ticking. I ain't got all day for that. No, I'm good.
Wow. Wow, that's a mouthful. That's a lot. Gee, you think you feel that kind of way?
I have one more story. I have one more story before we actually continue and we can talk about,
Sure.
So another guy that I chatted with, that I met off of OkCupid, I thought I must have been in church or something, and I was being told that I was going to hell. Because this guy, the way he was talking about like women having a body count and and then he was acting like he must have lived under a rock, because when he was telling me something about women or some orgy, something, he was talking about people, like 3 people having sex. And in my head, it's like, where have you been? It's called a threesome. What's going on here? Have you been living under a rock? You don't know nothing about threesomes, orgies, the swingers lifestyles. I'm not. Well, anyway, let me stop, because maybe everybody doesn't know, but the people who do, it's kind of like, we know some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you got to Google, and if you're interested, Google will tell you everything. Be like, are there really swingers out there? What's a threesome? What's a foursome? You know what I mean? Questions you can always ask Google, and it will tell you.
Sure.
But the way he was talking, I thought I must have been like, damn, I'm not a virgin. I'm not a virgin. I had children out of wedlock, so I don't know. He seemed pretty cool, but again, with the conversation, I was just like, this is not gonna work. He sounds very judgy, and I don't know what the hell he's looking for, because if he's looking for a virgin, that's not me. Because I said it on the profile loud and clear. I'm a mother of 3 children, or just said I'm a mom, and my kids are older. I put it on there. You don't need to ask me. Boom, it's there. You're interested or not? Fine. Because I've heard men talking about they don't like dating women with kids. It's whether if it's an issue. And again, whoever watches this, because I want to clarify something too. Yes, I am a mother of 3. No, I did not live with any of my children's fathers, and that's okay. Because whatever I did in the past has nothing to do with the future and the present or any of that. Because who I am today has nothing to do with who I was before. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the part that annoys me the most, when people are trying to get to know you and they're being judgy. Don't judge me about my past. Let's see about what's happening with me right now. Who am I as a person and as a woman? Don't worry about nothing in the past, because that has nothing to do with you. Whatever choices I made, that was my choice, not your choice and not your business. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If you're interested, if you're not, keep it moving. But you're not going to sit there and think you're going to talk down to me, because that's the last thing. Like I said, I'm in therapy. I'm trying to heal. We ain't doing this shit. You ain't bringing me backwards or none of that. We're moving forward. So this is how the dating has been for 2023. I'm like, what is wrong with everybody out there? What is wrong with some of these men and women? Because I would hear stories. I
Yeah.
was like, no way, this can't be happening. But it seems like stuff's not going to change. It's just not going to change.
Mm-mm.
So now you guys can chime in. And if you got any stories to tell, I know that Mr. Cleef is married. I do want to hear a little story about how he met his wife, because I'm always curious about this whole dating process, and
Mm-hmm.
when, especially for myself, when can I tell, like, you know what, this is actually, it's going somewhere serious, like, because I sometimes be thinking like I must be not doing something right, like I don't know. So
Well, it's funny. Actually, I was gonna let Reggie go because I know Reggie was itching to jump in. It's like double judge, right? But if you want me to go first, I'll
Yeah,
go. So, so this is my third marriage. Let's put that out there. The woman that I'm married to right now, we never dated, and the reason why we never dated was because we met in freshman year of college. We were college sweethearts. And when I first saw who's now my wife now, it was like I was on my way to class and she was walking towards me and I couldn't see anything else but her. Like even as she passed me, and my head just slowly turned as she's walking past me, and that's how her and I, kind of, met. It took me a couple of times because we would have class at the same time. It took me a couple of tries to try to talk to her. What was a clever way, back in the day? What line can I run to get this chick, right? But the only thing that came out of my mouth was, "Hi, how are you?" And she was like, "Oh, good, whatever. I see you here every day. Yep, you got a class in this book? Yep, absolutely. What class are you taking?" And that's how it pretty much started. And our relationship really, like I said, there was no dating involved. We literally, like, it was an instant connection for the both of us. And to the point where we were actually engaged in our senior year of college. Um, and I'm going to make this story a really short story because there was some other things that you had said that kind of ties into this. But to make the story a little bit shorter, we had to go our separate ways in our senior year of school because she's Italian and I'm Black. Back in those days, that was taboo. So that wasn't going to work. So we went our different ways. We led our separate lives. I had gotten married. I went into the military. I got married twice. And now fast forward about maybe 15 years ago, we had a lot of mutual friends on Facebook. And I said, "Hey, how is she doing?" "Oh, she's great. She's on Facebook," and, looked her up, whatever. And then it was like I kind of picked up our friendship from there. So we, talked, whatever. And, that's how pretty much, how that went. So I can honestly say that her and I never dated to get to a point. Why do I say that? So what you were talking about was online dating. And what I've discovered as a married person is that there is a definite difference between dating and online dating.
yeah,
One of the biggest distinguishable differences is that the inhibition has gone away if you're online. Hence the reason why there's a lot of catfishing, or people are not putting up true pictures of themselves or coming out their face a certain way online because you're not really in front of that person. Before this, you got to remember, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, going back hundreds of years, dating was much different. And if you noticed, those times where people were dating, those were relationships that lasted 40, 50, 60 years. Those are relationships of substance. Does it have to do with the dating? Probably could, because, I know down south back in the day, you were a gentleman, you came to the door, you rung the bell, you announced yourself, you came dressed a certain way, you presented yourself excuse me, a certain way. And a young lady came and she had a dress on and, she wasn't showing anything. And, it was that, you went to a movie, you went to go get something to eat, you went to go get some ice cream. There was actually, people talking and being cordial and things like that. So when you look at that type of dating versus online dating, there's a distinguishable difference. The other thing I will say too is, I was listening to your stories too about dating, and I don't know if you noticed, but all of your stories, I don't want to say the reason why they ended up the way that they did, but one of the common threads for that was expectations. So people say, well, what are the rules for dating? Right? What are some of the do's and don'ts? And this is what I was telling you earlier. Some people do's are other people's don'ts, and vice versa. You expect to have like on the wall, 10 rules of dating, rule number 1, rule number 2. I say, rules are just a way to navigate through something, and you can miss a turn off and tonally date someone that is not for you because you're so restrictive in how you date, and those are rules. And that's why I usually tell my friends, because most of my friends, 95% of my friends are female, and they always ask me, women, they always ask me, what do I look for? I want someone like you, or da 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 da. I said, first off, you got to throw away your rules of dating. And instead of saying rules, use expectations. And so in all of your 3 stories, you said you expected this. You were looking for that. You had an expectation of this. And that's a healthy way, I think, of looking for dating, because the whole magic is your expectations have to match their expectations, whoever you're dating, right? For example, what's the most common question someone asks on a date? What do you do? How many, baby mamas you got? Where do you live? Da 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 da, so forth and so on. And they ask the typical, questions like that. And my friends will say, well, I will ask them, well, what type of guy do you want to date? It's a simple question, right? It's a simple question. What type of guy do you want to date? You will be surprised, and I'm only speaking as a man who has friends that are female, women, I gotta stop saying female, women, and they always say, well, I want a guy that's nice. That's too general. Or I want a guy that, does this. It's too general. So your responses are general, so guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna get a general kind of guy, not the guy that you're looking for. You ask basic questions, you're going to get a basic guy. That's the thing. So I said, well, tell me about, you want a smart guy. What kind of smart guy do you want? I want someone who's intelligent, who's well read. I said, now you're getting specific. Because I say, now, if you want someone who's well read, and this is the easiest part, dating is so easy. It really is. And I'll tell you the reason why. If you listen enough or closely enough, they will give you every clue to where to find this person. For example, you like a guy that reads? Yeah, I like a guy who's well read, whatever. Great. Where do you think you're going to meet a guy that reads? In a library or a bookstore. Go hang out in a library or a bookstore, and you're going to find that kind of guy. Yeah, it's easy. Well, what kind of guy? Well, I like a guy who's into art and into painting, into dancing. Okay, great. Where
museum.
Like that in the museum, at an art gallery, at whatever. You can't be going to the club and meeting club dudes and expecting him to be your Prince Charming. You can't do that. You can't do that. So, like I said, with dating, throw away the rules, have expectations. ask smarter questions. Dating starts with yourself, because I always say to my female friends too, if you can't date yourself, how do you expect to date other people? And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, stop looking for a guy, or stop looking for, a young lady for dating for now. Take a break from dating the opposite sex. Take yourself out. Treat yourself. Get dressed, primp up yourself, make a reservation for yourself. Go out to dinner by yourself. Do this, because if you don't learn how to do that within you, you can't expect somebody else to do that for you when you're on a date with someone, So those are some of the things I always tell my women friends about. And a lot of them are very rejective of that, because they're so stuck on the traditional what they think dating is. So that's pretty much my deal. And it's funny because, like I said, I've been married 3 times. My wife that I'm married to right now, we never dated, but my first 2 we did date. So what does that tell you? Because your expectation, right, is I'm dating to find someone that I want to be with, that I want to marry. Well, I did that, and it didn't work out the first 2 times for me. The person that I did date, who I just had an instant connection with, boom, we're married. We love each other. We know each other better than we know ourselves. We've known each other for 35 years. So you sometimes, that's why I say some people's do's are other people's don'ts, and other people's don'ts are sometimes other people's do's. Dating is very fluid. You just have to be fluid.
Yeah. Preach.
Yes. Come on, Reggie. I want to hear these stories.
Where do I start? So about me is, growing up, I was very shy. I was very, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. Yeah, I was shy. So asking a girl out was like getting a panic attack. I was getting a panic attack if even thinking about asking a girl out, so, like, I was married myself. I've been divorced going on 3 years, but, yeah, I met my wife on Facebook. Actually, I used to date a friend of hers, well, a girl that she went to school with, and then I was looking through her friends list, and that's how I found my wife. And I said, "Oh, she's cute," and I live in Virginia, so I see, "Oh, she's from New York too. Oh, that's what's up." You know what I'm saying? So messaged her and, "How you doing?" Blah blah blah. And started talking on the phone, and the common stuff. Where you from? How old are you? What your background and all that stuff. So, yeah. For my birthday, I told her I was coming up to New York, and all that. She was like, "Ooh, let me know." Met her at Times Square. We had a date. We went to the movie, and all that. And, yeah. 8 years later and 3 kids later, yeah, so. But the thing about that relationship was communication. Like, I was horrible at communicating my feelings, my expressions, what I wanted to say. I just kept to myself. She's a very headstrong woman. She's an alpha. So pretty much in that relationship, whatever said goes. She did try to put, hey, what do you think? And I was always a yes man. I was like, okay, whatever that's cool. Whatever you think is fine. I'm with it too, even though I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So, we argued a lot because, like I said, we were like oil and water, like pretty much different. I'm shy and timid and all that. She's the complete opposite. So we always talk about the little stuff, finance, how the kids was raised and blah blah blah. So that obviously didn't work. We tried to make it work. We had kids together. We got married. She wanted to get married because she thought that life would be better and all that. I wasn't really ready to get married, but I say, hey, I have I have children by her. I don't want I vowed I'm not going nowhere. Like my father, I didn't live with my father and all like that. My father separated from my mother, so I'm not going to do that to my kids. So that's why I agreed to get married and all that. But it wasn't supposed to be. We didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? That's just how life is. But after that, I've been on Facebook dating sites. I met a couple of women. You know, the thing about the dating sites, to me, my opinion, 80% of the time you're not going to find, probably 90% of the time you're not going to find the right one, the
Mm-mm.
one thing. So ever since I've been on there for like a good 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years, I've been out on like I'm gonna say like 5 or 6 dates,
Mm.
and none of them worked. I
Yeah.
met. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you talking about the Facebook dating or just like Facebook in general?
No, Facebook dating. Yeah,
It's been out that long already?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Since the pandemic, since the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe I didn't really care about it because I'm like, when? I didn't even know. I think I've either started noticing from like last year, and it's popping up a lot that I see it, but I don't remember from
Mhm.
before. I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, wow, it's been around that long already?
Yeah, yeah. Since
Yeah.
it's a pandemic. I,
Yeah.
I, I,
Since the,
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah. I've been on there. I met. I'm gonna say like 5, maybe 6 women. Went out on dates. Um, some of them are good. Some of them, like what I see in when I uh look for a woman is it's not just the physical, it's the personality.
Mhm.
I learned that communication is the key. The communication to me is a big step up in the relationship. I'm looking for that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, what else? This kind-hearted and speaks her mind and all that. So there were some women that I went out with that were like that, but they I wouldn't say have a flaw, but just like didn't work out. Like the first girl I went out with, she had a trauma. She was raped. She was very open about that. So she was very. She didn't open up because she felt like she wasn't ready to open up, and
Mhm.
that's totally fine. I understand, what she went through and all that. But a simple conversation, hey, how you doing? Like, how was your day? My day was okay. It was fine. Okay. What you do at work today? Just work. Nothing serious. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like communication. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that didn't work out. Um, next girl out, we was cool. She's funny, good personality, and all that. Um, she like me. She just got recently divorced. So I figured, hey, we got something in common. You know what I'm saying? We got, she has a child as well, but she wasn't to me wasn't ready to be out in the dating scene yet because she
Mhm.
still felt some type of way about her ex husband and just like wasn't ready for another relationship. So yeah, it's like okay, that's fine. You know, other girls were too wild for me. They were too just about partying and going out, and
Mhm.
that's not my speed. You know what I mean? So it's been tough dating
Yeah.
scene. It's been really tough to find a girl on my level. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Um, like I said, there's different strokes for different folks. So like you said, you gotta if you want somebody to be on your same level or whatever, you gotta you know think outside the box and figure out like, hey, who do you actually particularly want? So I've been chilling, I've been talking and flirting with other women and seeing who could be a contender like as far as going out and
Mhm.
you know, you know,
You're kind of going in and out, so I don't know. Like, where's the mic piece at? Like, do you have something on, or is it just kind of?
Yeah, I think you're going in and out.
Oh, I am.
Unless maybe the connection or something.
Oh,
see, right now you're good. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I had the phone away from me. I had to get close to the phone, I guess. But but yeah, like I was saying, like I just feel like I'm taking it slow, even though like being single is good, but it's not good at the same time. You get lonely. You feel like you want to be booed up with somebody, So it's tough, But I just got to take it one step at a time, basically, to find the right one.
Yeah, it's that aspect of dating I do remember was tough in between my marriages. I mean, like I said, even though I didn't date my wife that I'm with right now, I did some extensive dating too. And I like yourself, I was out during the Black Planet, era and stuff, and just, looking and whatever. And actually, since we talked about dating stories, I had a similar situation that our host had. There was this young lady, she was from New York, excuse me, but she lived in Jersey. Well, she was from New Jersey, but she lived in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And we were talking, whatever. And we had really good conversations. We were up late at night. We were talking, I mean, literally about everything and anything under the sun. And, she said, man, it's so bad that we live so far away, until, one day she's like, yeah, well, I'm coming up to Jersey to come see my family, like for us to kind of hook up. I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. I was all excited about that. Now, going back, looking at her pictures, again, but believe me, I'm a quick learner, and I'm looking at her pictures and I'm like, okay. So we met, and she looked just like her pictures, but I noticed something that was really off key. And I noticed, and it hit me, she never smiled in her pictures. And I'm like, well, she smiled, but she closed mouth smiled, right? And like never show her teeth. And the same thing like our host, man, when she showed them teeth, they went every which way, boy. And I was like, yo, come on, serious? Whatever. But, like yourself, I didn't want to be like that shallow Hal, whatever, and everything. And, we had a really good time. But, I mean, just distance and, that kind of threw me off as well. But what I was going to say to both of you is, it's kind of a dating exercise, because again, I tell all my friends to do this who's out there dating. I said, you know what? Here's what you guys may want to try to do. Take out a piece of paper, write down the top 10 things, specific things you're looking for in a person, right? Like I said, if you want someone who's well-read, write that out, well-read, not just smart. If you want someone who's handsome, or beautiful, even if you're not into looks, but describe, if that person was sitting across from you, describe exactly how that person should look to you, right? I mean, down to the every detail, height, weight, skin tone, complexion, whatever, because what it's teaching you to do is being very specific for what it is that you want. Because what's going to happen is when you find that person, or that person finds you, it's like a light switch. You've already trained yourself to already act the way that you're going to act, because you've already wrote down that list for yourself, and you already have those expectations in mind. And I think, and I hate to say it, and I know, because the times that we live in now, it's all about social media and technology, and even though I'm in the IT industry, it has made us very lazy. It has made us very dependent. It has made us very non-communicative. It has made us very non-personable. And again, this is just me as an older guy talking. I liked dating back when, before social media. I like being, at the movies or whatever, and I, run into someone, or I see someone, I'm like, hey, did you enjoy the movie? Not even knowing this person, and striking up that personal conversation. And here's the reason why. Not only are you hearing their responses, but you're seeing their responses as well. That will give you everything you need to know about that person, their nonverbals, because anyone can say anything to you online, right? But you're not reading their nonverbals. You can't see them. You can't hear them. I mean, you can see their words, but you can't see the context behind their words. If you're looking at them dead in their face, it will tell you everything you need to know. So that's why I said, I mean, not that I will ever be, God forbid, but if I was single, I can tell you that I probably, and this is just me, this is just again, I'm in my mid-50s. I probably would not be on dating sites at all. That's just not me. I would have to have that interpersonal. I have to go out to places. I got to go to like places, like, for example, perfect example. As you can see, I'm an avid cigar smoker. I love smoking cigars. I go to cigar lounges. Every town that I go visit, the first thing I do is find a cigar lounge. I love cigars. I've been smoking cigars for almost a quarter of a century. Excellent place to meet people. Excellent place. I would rather be sitting in a cigar lounge trying to meet someone. Oh, did we lose Reggie?
Yeah. He's going to come back on.
Oh, okay. So what I was going to say was, that would be, to me, the place that I would go look for a person to date. Why? Because the person that I want to date has to love cigars like I love cigars, and that's a qualifier for me. More and more women are smoking cigars. I got my father smoking cigars now. My brothers, my sisters are smoking cigars now. So those are the type of places that I would go to find a person that would be a potential match. So I can't do that online. I have to actually go out there and do the work, so to speak. So for me, I think that's how dating is somewhat different back then versus now, or personal dating, meaning looking in their face, versus online dating.
Right. I feel like it's like that. No, I feel like it's. Oh, I'm gonna have to mute you. Let's see. Is it? Hello? I think it was okay. I think it was like the feedback, but yeah, it's dating. The whole dating scene has changed a lot. Like what you said, technology plays a big part, because before I got back on the dating site again, I made the choice of I wanted to do things differently. I was trying it the old school way, like what you were talking about. I was trying to do it the old school way, but it was one of those things where so-called friends, because I'm gonna be like so-called friends, trying to introduce me to someone else, and I'm like, what kind of friend are you? You're introducing me to somebody who is a piece of crap. And not even just like being mean, is because knowing the person and seeing, like, damn, like I was confused when it happened, because I'm like, you don't know me, like, or maybe I don't know. I'm like, do you not hear the things that I say? Like, why would you want to introduce me to somebody that ain't shit? Like, come on now. Like, so then here I am. I went back onto the dating sites and I was like, here we go again. So I tried it. I think I got on maybe like, it was like 2 months ago, like something like that, 2 or 3 months ago, that I had got back on to see what's out there. And I've come across a few people, like they didn't say nothing to me, but I saw there was a few people that I noticed, because when they would click like and I would see, I was just like, oh man, I know this person, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I was just like, I didn't know what it was a feedback before, but yeah, it's funny.
Well, I would say, unfortunately, the people who you think have your best interests at heart don't, because if they would have really known the type of person you are or know you, they would not set you up with these failure type people. So you do have people who are out there who are jealous of you and will see you, they will want to see you not succeed or see you not have a successful relationship, and they will set you up with people on purpose, knowing that these are not good people for you. So again, I don't like to call them rules. For me, it's an expectation. I would never have someone set someone up for me, because I don't know if your best interest is at heart for me. I wouldn't want, you to take on that responsibility to try to figure out who it is that you want me to date. Perfect example. You want to talk about a dating story? Perfect example. And I'm going to call these people, because they may be listening, they may not be, but I'm going to call. So I have a really good friend of mine, and him and I, we go back long ways, right? So I'm going to call him Rob. And there's another female friend of mine that I had just met when I moved up here, and we had worked together, whatever. We kind of got close, she even knew, my wife and everything. And I'm going to call her Liz. So Rob and Liz, they don't know each other, but they're both friends of mine, and they found each other through social media, or, my friend would come up, she would be up, they kind of happened to, talk or whatever. And my friend Liz was like, well, what's up with Rob? And I said, well, nothing. He's good, whatever. Would you mind if I, try to talk to him? I said, yeah, sure, whatever. But I said this, I said, if you do, if anything goes down, I'm taking his side, because my loyalty lies with him. Well, why? Well, because first off, we've been friends longer than you've been alive. So let's put that out there. So, I didn't hook them up. I didn't play matchmaker. I didn't have anything in mind, but these are the potential things that could happen while, this goes on. Unfortunately, things totally did not work out, and I ended up losing her as a friend. So what do you do? What do you do in a situation like that? How do you handle that? Like I said, I think dating is personal. I think dating is fluid. I think dating is something that, you definitely got to put the work in for, but you got to ask yourself, what is it that you're really looking for? Because dating has multi-purposes. Are you looking to date someone to be in a relationship to get married? Are you looking for dating someone just to have fun? As a, friendship, a vanilla friendship? Are you looking for, a fuck buddy? You got to really ask yourself these questions, because, just blindly going out there and just saying, hey, I'm going out on a date, I met this person, whatever. Yeah, but what are you expecting? What is your expectation to get out of it? Right? So that's, a lot of work. I don't want to say it's hard work. It can be hard work. It's hard work because people make it hard, unnecessarily hard. But all you have to do is just listen. Just sit back, listen to yourself, trust yourself, talk to as many people as you can, face to face, and they will give you all the information you need to know to make some really good choices as far as people who you really want to date, and qualities as well. Like, for example, if I were to ask you, what is it that you're looking for in a man or a woman? What would be the first 5 things you would say? Come on, give it to me. What would you say?
I can't, because, I was listening to what you were saying, right? And it's funny because I can make a list, or I can tell you what I'm looking for, but sometimes I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get everything that I'm trying to put out there. Like,
Sure.
Let's say handsome, intelligent, creative. I'm just giving examples. Let's say into sports, or likes is adventurous, and things like that.
Right.
You're not always going to find the person who might want to do everything you do. But
and you never
it could get
will.
to the point where I'm okay.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But you won't though, because that's perfection. If you're putting out a list of everything and you're expecting to get everything, you're looking for the perfect person. Unfortunately, there's no such thing. You can come as close to it as you want to, but you're not going to get everything. And I think people get discouraged because, well, and this, so they totally discard the person. Here's what I would offer as a counter thought for that. Look for a person with potential as opposed to a person that has. Perfect example. There's an actor, this young brother actor, and he always plays the role like of a doctor or something. And he was on one of these talk shows that was hosted by, I think, like Sherry Shepherd and a bunch of people, whatever. And he had revealed to her that he had a thing for her. Like, oh my God, I had a thing for you. And she was surprised and she was shocked. And she says, well, why didn't you pursue it? And he said something that was so profound. I'm like, you know what? I wish a lot of people could hear this. He says, well, he said to her, well, at the time that I was interested in you and I was showing you my interest, you were requiring things I didn't have yet, but I had the potential of being, and you ignored that. And so you dismissed me. And he didn't use the word dismiss, but he was very polite about it. He was being very gentleman about it. But there were things about me that I had the potential of, but you weren't looking for that. You were looking for the entire package already came and built already. You weren't looking for the potential of who I could be, because I guess this was during a time where he just started acting and stuff like that, and he was coming into his own. So, that's another thing too. You're not going to get everything you want. There are some things that you have to, within yourself, not anybody else, but within yourself, say, what is it that I'm willing to accept and tolerate? And what are some of the things that I won't be able to negotiate? And that will help you kind of fine tune what it is that you want, because you hear, and I know you on Facebook, you see this a lot, all these videos about, women, like, what are they looking for a guy? Oh, he's got to make 6-digit figure. He's got to be a boss. He's got to be this. He's got to be that, whatever. And of course, I'm using that as an extreme, but you never hear someone who says, well, I'm looking for someone who has the potential of, being this, great person. And I think I have the tools to help that person help their potential and help their greatness, help build them. Like, that's a woman that I would date, right? Not, that, but she has the forethought of seeing that she could be helpful in me, in her building me, and vice versa. I can help build her as well, and we can build each other. You don't hear any of that anymore. Nobody wants to take the time out to get to know anybody anymore with that. And I think that's very, it's sad. It's almost depressing, because that's where you lose the interpersonal communication between people. That's where you lose it.
So this is what we're going to do. I don't know why. Hold on. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a break. Well, it's going to be a short break. You got to love tech. I'm tech savvy to a certain extent, but I know that if I go past an hour and if I want to upload this video anywhere else, for some reason, it won't, like, depending on the site. So I'm just trying to, like, cut it in half. So, because it's about to hit an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the new link. We'll be back. I will see you guys in a few. We're going to continue the conversation, because besides the stories of dating and everything that's going on, I do want to talk about, like, the do's and the don'ts. And when I say that, meaning, like, letting someone know where you're going, because there's been some really crazy stories behind stuff like that when you don't tell people what you're doing. So we will be back.